Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Super Segoke Buchclub. Heute mal wieder mit mir und
Mir.
wir lesen wieder weiter Infinity Reaper von Best Boy Alan Silvera.
Woo.
Das ist die Fortsetzung von Infinity Sun, falls es keiner weiß.
Falls ihr einfach so drauf geklickt habt und euch dachtet, wow, was ist denn. I don't know, wie unser Titel ist.
Infinity Reaper. Ach so, nee.
Bounce Daughter, nee, das war was
Endless
anderes.
Stork oder irgendwie so.
Ja,
Ach, Bounce Stork, I guess.
I guess.
Oder? Ja. Ähm, Jedenfalls, warum ich das sage, ist, weil wir eine Weile lang nicht mehr gestreamt haben, tatsächlich. Schon ein Stückchen. Aber dafür gibt es heute Special. Also es ist nichts Special, es ist nur länger.
Ja, wir machen halt länger, ja.
Ja, und
AKA, ich will jetzt auch noch keine Zeit festlegen, wie lange wir machen. Ich gucke einfach mal, wie lange ich Bock habe zu lesen.
okay,
Aber länger auf jeden Fall als sonst.
so 10 Minuten.
10 Minuten länger, nein.
Also mal
12.
gucken, wie viele Kapitel wir heute schaffen. 20, 40.
Richtig reinballern, let's go.
Ja. Und dann geht's, also, wo waren wir letztes Mal? Ähm, also es war ja alles gerade so hektisch. War es hektisch? Also so mit Brighton und so, ne?
Oh mein
Ist
Gott,
er
das war ja voll
abgehauen?
dramatisch beim letzten Mal. I remember.
Ja, irgendwie irgendwas ist doch passiert, oder?
Ness war unten bei der Mutti und dem Girlfriend.
Yes.
Und dann haben die so voll gebondet. Die waren so, oh mein Gott, Emil ist voll hot. Alle.
Mhm.
Und
Ja.
dann wollte Ness gerade sagen, wow, das ist voll funny, ich habe diesen Spitznamen für ihn. Und dann konnte er gar nicht weiterreden.
Das erinnert mich, was passiert. Oh,
Weil dann wurden die abgebrochen und dann war das so, hahaha, ausgetrickst, Brudi. Und dann wurde angeteasert, dass er beim nächsten Mal die beiden impersonaten soll.
ja, richtig schlimm.
Ja, voll dramatic.
Komm, wie macht er beide gleichzeitig?
Ich glaube nicht gleichzeitig.
Aber was?
Neue Powers.
Neue Powers, Klonen und Shapeshiften.
Ja.
Krass, ey. Kann einfach eine
Ich meine,
ganze Stadt allein sein.
falls man kann als Celestial auch noch das andere möglich wäre, könnte man das ja nicht in der Theorie machen.
True.
Da könnte sich dann nicht die Freundin von Wes da, die eine,
Mhm. Yes.
auch so ein Shapeshifter-Ding reinballern und dann könnte sie einfach so eine Crowd an verschiedenen Leuten
Mal
imitieren.
ebenso reinballern.
Ja.
Und Frage, muss dann die Hauptperson für jede Person so fühlen, als musste sie richtig hart pissen, oder ist das für jeden Klon einzeln?
Das ist für alle einzeln bestimmt.
Okay.
Aber
Aber
dafür
was
ist
soll
es
sich ansammeln?
meistens ist es also eine Crowd an Leuten, die sich vor einem Klo anstellt.
Weil,
Weil die actually piesen müssen.
weil ich denke mir halt, mit den Klonen, like, hat sie so direkte Kontrolle? Ist das so, like, ihr Ding? Oder sind die allein unterwegs?
Könnte sie
So.
dann alleine einen Film drehen. Und einfach den ganzen Cast machen.
Und sie können halt die krassesten Schauspieler mit
Ja.
reinmachen. Damn.
Boah, wenn das Nest wäre, könnte sich Emil holen und einfach mit dem rumknutschen.
Ach so, wenn er klonen könnte. Ach so.
Weil er verwandelt sich ja eh schon auf den ihn scheinbar. Einfach aus dem Bild.
Ja.
Und dann kommt die Mutti rein und ist so, jawohl.
Das ist natürlich ein guter Ansatz.
Fanfiction.
Das ist die Story vom Film natürlich,
Ja.
den die Frau von Wesley dreht.
Ja. Die verwandelt sich in die beiden und knutscht rum.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Ich glaube, also jetzt wissen wir ja ungefähr, was abging. Nicht wirklich, aber
Doch, absolut.
ja, wir werden sehen, wie es weitergeht. Chapter 20. Dark Hearts.
Oh mein Gott, Kingdom Hearts.
Oh mein Gott, den Joke hast du letztens schon
Ja, ich weiß. Und davor das mal auch schon.
Emil. It's midnight when I sneak out of the cottage to see the stars. weil die ja so alle Celestials sind, so voll Sterne und die haben dann mehr Power und so. Fun Fact. The cloaked phantom is high in the dark sky. Wow, ich habe noch nie diesen Satz so gehört. Es ist so high in the
The
sky,
cloaked
aber
phantom is high. Booty.
yes. It's a light reflecting across the sea. The prime constellation is shaped like an old school theater mask with the sly eyes twinkling the brightest. I'm out here tonight for Ness, knowing this alignment of stars is the reason he has he has his powers in the first place. Powers that couldn't keep him safe. I head down to the beach, already wishing I brought a jacket with me. I keep my sneakers on since the sand is too cold, which would have been welcomed the couple times I've been out here with Prudencia during the day, but it's too chilly right now. I flex my fingers, trying to tap into my gleam to keep warm, but just like when I was barely able to create a fire orb to attack Stanton back at Aldebaran, all my wounds, the ones inflicted by Ness and Luna, burn so badly that I'm almost brought to tears. Ja, ich frage mich ja eigentlich, was ist, wenn die mit einem normalen Messer die Wunden rausschneiden?
Ja, ne?
Like,
Dann. Ich weiß nicht genau, wie die Wunden da.
ja, also wenn es jetzt
Aber
so,
ja.
so voll reingerammt ist, dann vielleicht nicht so. Aber wenn es nur von außen so
Ja.
gesliced ist, maybe.
Lifehack. Ich dachte mir, wow. Imagine so Fingerflexen, so, ne? So komplett ausstrecken. Und dann revealed das so, dass dadurch, dass beide Hände so zusammen ne, sind, auf der Handinnenfläche so ein Tattoo. Und dann steht da Weird Flex, but okay.
Ja, ich kann einfach seine Finger so denen und steht da Flex.
Flex. Ja,
Er
über
zieht.
solche Sachen denke ich dann, ne? Nicht so deep
Ja.
Sachen.
Okay. Ja. Aber es ist ja auch okay. Jeder Gedanke zählt oder so.
Eben.
Egal worum es geht. It seems impossible to be a soldier in this war. I mean, check me out. Macht Ness ständig.
Ew.
I haven't exactly been the most effective weapon in every battle. Prudenza and I have had that exhausting conversation while out on the beach. I hate that I dragged her into this war, but I'm grateful she's here, especially with Brighton mostly keeping to himself. Prudencia isn't a soldier fully known to the public, but the Bloodcasters must have pieced together her identity by now. She hasn't said it out loud, and I doubt she ever would, but I think she's worried her aunt Maya might meet the same fate as Ma. There's a lot of love lost from how gleam-phobic Maya is, but Prudencia still cares. Aww. Footsteps are shuffling in the sand behind me, and I spin around, nervous that an enforcer or bloodcaster has tracked us down. I'm ready to try and cast fire as if my life depends on it. Was es auch würde.
Ja.
But it's only Brighton. Brighton.
Tot.
Keine Bedrohung. I'm not ruling out that he might be coming to swing at me too. He sits beside me and looks up at the cloaked phantom. Days ago, he was glowing under the crowned dreamer, primed to become an unstoppable spectre. Screw these constellations, Brighton breathes out. He's pissed at something that was never for him. These prime constellations exist for celestials. For every branch of power out there, a lot of savants can trace its origin back to constellations. I'm definitely not an expert on them, but when I was younger, the feathered figure constellation took to the sky and elevated all flying powers. They can actually be positive forces for celestials, I say, remembering how jaw-dropping it was to see so many celestials flying through the air that evening. But not specters like us, Brighton says, rubbing his left hand against his leg to warm up while his poisoned arm is wrapped up against the cocoon cast. Was?
Ja, ne?
Na dann. Specters like you. I think he'll die before he understands how lucky he is that he's not a specter. I wouldn't have gone for the Reaper's blood if that gleam gene had just been activated in me. I don't know why Abuelita's psychic powers weren't passed down through Ma, but I would have made good use of them. This imagined world does have its possibilities. You could have you, you could have been some detective who gets visions about crimes and stop them from coming true, I say. Sounds more like a TV show, Brighton says. You would probably be the hero who complains about being the hero for the entire series, but then at the end, you're grateful for the fight because it changed your life for the better. You win the war and you get the guy. Okay.
Mhm.
Ist standardmäßig alles gay hier?
Nee, aber es geht ja um Emil.
Ach so. Ich dachte, es geht um Brian, weil,
Brighton says.
ja, das war ja davor.
Sounds more like a TV show. Brighton says you would probably be the hero who complains about being the hero for the entire series, but then blah blah win the guy, get the guy.
Ah, okay. Ich dachte, das ist einfach gewechselt zu dann Emil, weil Pause.
Nee, ist ja der gleiche Absatz.
Ich weiß nicht, wie man Bücher liest, ja, also. I'm drawn to the cloaked phantom again as the gentle waves creep up on the sand. The splashing would usually soothe me, but it's not cutting it for me tonight. Except I can't get the guy when he's dead, I say. It's clear I'm no longer talking about this TV show Brightness dreaming up. Our lives aren't someone's entertainment, or aren't supposed to be, at least. It's not like you loved him, Brighton says. I'm shivering from the cold. I don't have to love him to grieve him. This was important to me and we trusted each other. When we were under attack at Nova, I was running around trying to find you because we had no idea you would run off with Maribel already. Ness risked his life posing as me to buy me more time. That's when he got captured and I stop because I don't know what went down next. I don't know much about what even came before, like his relationship with his mother before she was killed, or his father before he became so consumed with power that he used Ness to spread hate. I wonder if he's ever been involved with anyone romantically before or always single like me. I even want to know more about his transformation into a specter. There's so much I'm never going to know about Ness, I say. His story is going to remain some big mystery to me, and I always wonder that, about what would have happened between us if we got away together. I feel the same way about Prudentia, Brighton says. We've known her for 4 years, I say. But not really. If she had been a Celestial, what else don't we know about her? There's got to be more to the story. What really happened that led to her parents being killed by enforcers? Her life at home with Maya? And did she date what's his face Dominic? Okay, and did she date what's his face?
Hm.
Ja, sagt man das so?
Ja,
Das so what's his name?
ja, auch Face.
Okay. What's his face Dominic? Because he was
Whatchamacallem. Das geht natürlich auch.
I guess.
Alles möglich.
Mhm. Solange du wild bist. Because he was also a Celestial? Did he know about her? The day Prudentia revealed her powers, she told me how her father was the only Celestial between her parents, but I don't have the answer to any of Brighton's other questions. Just ask her, I say. What's the point, Brighton asks. I'm dying and it's not like I'm going to come back. Maybe it's not about you. Prudentia might open up to you if you're doing it for yourself, not Celestials of New York. Did she say that? I shake my head. I never pressed Prudentia about her feelings for Brighton. She kept to herself why she was dating Dominic too, and I always swore that was because she didn't want to mess with Brighton's head. But after everything this past month, I guess she's more private than we realized. Bright, talk to her. Unlike Ness, Prudentia is alive. If you only have a few months left to live, do you really want to spend that time not being honest? You're right, Brighton says. I don't hear those words from him that often. He looks up at the sky, taking in the stars. If this constellation is supposed to represent change, then I should consider making some. He holds out his left fist, and at first I think he wants me to help him up, but I realize he's waiting for a fist bump. It's been a minute since we've done one. Okay. I don't know, warum sagt man it's been a minute? Da
Das
kann
sagt
die.
man halt so.
I don't know.
Hä? Das ist doch einfach Redewendung.
Nein, ich muss mal, it's been ages.
Ja, aber das sagt man ja auch oft.
Ja, das kenne ich, aber das hier kenne ich nie. I guess having a. Huh?
Interesting.
Ja, I don't know. Macht auch keinen Sinn, oder?
I don't know, sagt man halt so.
Na gut. Akzeptiere ich mal einfach so. I guess having a real conversation that doesn't end with him yelling at me warrants one. Our knuckles meet and we whistle. Alter,
Bist du Team
Knuckles.
Sonic oder Team Knuckles? Ich hasse mein Leben.
What are you doing? I ask as he gets up. I'm going to make sure I don't die with any regrets, Brighton says, and he walks back to the cottage. Brighton leaves me alone with the cloaked phantom. Okay. Sure. And I stay out here, wishing I had the same chance to make things right with Ness.
Aber der ist ja tot scheinbar, Emil.
Ja, ich meine, der ist obviously tot.
Obviously ist er gestorben.
Oh, tot, ja.
Ness kann ja schließlich nix.
True.
21. 21. Ultimately Brighton. Aha. Okay. Ultimately ist ein interessanter Kapitelname. It's really sinking in how short life is. I walk back to the cottage thinking about how I'll never own a house I can show off to my family. Of course, only to show off. How everything I always wanted for myself, fame, power, success, family, won't ever happen. Oh mein Gott, wie kann man so unsympathisch sein?
Wie kann man so eine Ziele haben?
Ja.
Von Family, like, als ob.
Ja, das Ding ist ja nicht mal so, dass ich mir denke, ja, manche denken das, aber würden es niemals laut sagen und das ist jetzt nur, weil wir das hören, sondern ich denke mir so, wie kann man so denken? I made some stupid, arrogant choices and I'm paying the price for it now. But the conversations I've had lately with Ruth and Emil are inspiring me to make some better decisions before my time runs out. Prudencia was in the shower when I left to go kill some tension with Emil, but she's nowhere to be seen inside now. I go back outside and I find her in the grass clearing by the tool shed, sitting cross-legged in the air. Alter, richtig Yoda.
Ach, was? Wie sitzt sie da?
Am Schneidersitz in der Luft. Schwebe.
Ach so, weil sie sich hochheben kann.
Mhm.
Okay. Ist nicht so ein Konzept, was man normalerweise hat.
Her eyes are closed and she's wobbling, but mostly keeping her balance. There's always been something attractive about Prudencia concentrating that distracted me so much that I would sneak peeks like whenever we did homework together or made signs for protests or the couple times she helped me edit my videos. Mein Gott, sie ist super supported für so einen Patheten.
Videos zusammen editen, like kreativmäßig so, ja, das da. Ja.
Ich meine, er hat ja nur gesagt, sie hat geholfen. Kann auch sein, dass sie ein ganzes Stück selber gemacht hat und dann er wieder irgendwas gemacht hat, weil er keine Zeit hat oder so.
Ja, weil er keine Zeit hat.
Ja, weil er so viel lernt und so schlau ist in der Schule. Oh mein Gott, warum ist er nicht super Fame? Ich verstehe es nicht. Vielleicht, weil er absolut nicht sympathisch ist. Schon mal darüber nachgedacht. But she's stunning in this moment, fully in her own element. Wet, dark hair pulled back by a rubber band, one of Ruth's everybody is super shirts tucked into sweatpants, and elevated by the power she's kept secret for too many years.
Einfach so ein Gummiband.
Ja, Klassiker. Von irgendwelchen zusammengewickelten Frühlingszwiebeln.
Ja, wollte ich auch gerade sagen, das ist auch meine einzige Quelle für so ein Gummiband.
Ja. Woher gibt Gummibänder wachsen doch an Frühlingszwiebeln, oder?
Ja, die Bündel wachsen auch so und
Ja.
dann ist es einfach gleich klar.
I feel weird standing here and watching her, so I whisper her name to get her attention louder and louder until I accidentally scare her and she drops to the ground. Alter, Popo gebrochen. I
Oha.
run over and help her up with my left hand. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to freak you out. Prudencia sucks in a breath while she massages her elbow. It's okay. Do you need ice? I turn to go back inside. No, it's fine. Between all the battles lately, I can handle a little fall. She wipes the dirt from her hands onto her sweatpants. What are you doing out here? I was looking for you. The seconds of silence that follow are too much, so I quickly add, how about you? Prudencia points at the cloaked phantom. We didn't get a chance to appreciate the Crowned Dreamer at its zenith. So I figured I'd come out tonight and feel these stars on my skin. I start backing away. Okay, I'll leave you to that. I need to be better about respecting her background. Prudencia sits on the grass and stares ahead at the bay. I could use a break, she says, and I stop retreating. Balancing myself in the air is pretty taxing, so you were looking for me? I just wanted to talk. About? Everything. Nothing. Whatever feels right. She pats the grass beside her. Come, sit. The last time we got to sit like this in nature was on my birthday. I hosted that underwhelming meetup for not even a dozen Brightsiders and went home with too much merch. I have way more clout now. I'm sure I could get hundreds of people. But this focus on strangers has always been my problem. I've always had a real friend right here by my side. Someone who could have been more if I put her before others. Wow. Gute Realization. Realisation.
Schlechte Umsetzung.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, I say. It crushes me when I realize I have so much to apologize for. My ego won every battle against you and Emil, but it especially wasn't fair to you. Emil and I have been able to turn to our parents whenever we got on each other's nerves, but you've been alone with Maya, who hasn't been a good aunt to you. She didn't even let you be yourself, and I failed by not being someone you can trust. Prudencia folds her arms over her knees and nods. I really appreciate that, Brighton. I never wanted to take my powers to the grave, but I didn't want to embrace them anymore. It's been really lonely, though. I don't want to ask, because I'm scared of how it will make me feel, but this is the work I got to do to make up for all the times I put myself before her. But you had Dominic, right? Celestial boyfriend who understood you? It could have, she says. If I told him. Why didn't you? It didn't feel written in the stars, Prudencia says. His family is very proud of their gleamcraft. Practically purists. I like Dominic a lot, but I wasn't going to lay out all my cards so my high school boyfriend's parents would like me. You were always too good for him anyway, I say. Is this still because he wouldn't do a Coney interview? Oh my god, Celestials of New York? Wow. Prudencia asks with a grin. I laugh. All I'm saying is that if he was so proud to be a Celestial, he would have let me profile him. He would have if he didn't feel so competitive. You always had higher marks and more followers. I explained to him over and over that growing your platform was important for your dreams of hosting your own TV show, and that it didn't matter for his ambitions as a pilot. But he still kept tabs on you. It's strange to think that someone who could travel through shadows was jealous of me. Well, he was lucky enough to date you. That's a big win.
Smooth Talk, oder?
Smooth. The starlight on Prudencia's blushing cheeks tightens my chest. Ah!
Ich sollte da gerade Sterne leuchten auf ihren Cheeks.
Ja, richtig kawaii. So. The constellation is about change, and I hope she's as open to honoring that as I am. Her eyes glow like skipping stars, and she looks like a maestro as she makes small rocks and branches dance around us. Richtiger Disney-Film. The movements.
Ja. Voll random Gedanken gehabt. Genau, in der Zukunft, da kann man bestimmt so seine Körper irgendwie verändern. Ob es so eine Option gibt, dass man dann, dass sein Blush so 3 Streifen sind oder so auf jeder Cheek.
Ja. Uff. Heiliger, das wär's ja. Ich glaube, es wäre nicht mein Go-To, aber ja.
Nee, aber dass man irgendwie so sagt, ja, man tötet einfach da ein bisschen was ab, dass da kein Blut mehr ordentlich hinkommt.
Ja,
oder
irgendwie so.
Und dann boom, Streifen. Ja.
The movements are mostly delicate. Even when a couple branches snap, she catches them before they can hit the ground and adds them into her telekinetic current. Mummy wasn't a celestial, but Poppy was. The first time in our family in 7 generations. That's why our telekinesis isn't as naturally powerful. He didn't have anyone to teach him how to use his powers, but I was lucky to have him. The most important lesson was focus. Prudencia's fingers move more forcefully, like she's giving the air a deep tissue massage. Hello.
Hast du bei Mami und Papi auch so ein komisches I?
Ja.
So ein Sprachending?
Ja.
Okay.
Ist ja Mami und Papi.
Absolut. Papier.
Papier. To suspend something in elevation, you have to maintain focus. You can't forget about a single rock or stick. You have to decide on the movements for each. It gets trickier when you're also carrying yourself. She ascends, not as high as when I found her out here tonight, and then I suddenly feel like I'm being slowly sucked up to the sky. And when you're carrying others. We're sitting across from each other in the air with nature swirling around us. She's beginning to sweat as she gracefully lowers us to the ground. Whoops. Better landing this time, she jokes. Thanks for telling me all of that. It's like I get to know you all over again. I'm happy to tell you everything as long as it doesn't end up on Celestials of New York. Gar nicht cool abgekürzt, okay. Prudencia says with a smile. Coney. Even though I know she's serious. She lies down on the grass and stares at the stars. I'm running out of time to see her smile and float together. I'm so stupid, the kind of stupid that could have only been salutatorian if he cheated. I put hours and hours into Celestials of New York so that I could be in the go-to platform for news about a community I don't belong to. One I had hoped to belong to if Abuelita's psychic powers manifested in me. I always dreamed of profiling myself, Brighton of New York, but that's never happening. I inch closer and lie down beside her. The cloaked phantom is the sparkling, gigantic reminder to be the change you want to see.
Da bestimmt auch einen anderen Celestial, der Brighton heißt und in New York ist.
Aber ist er der Brighton aus New York? Weißt du?
Schlechtes System, würde ich sagen.
You know, I've always wanted more in life than likes and views, right? I ask with my heart in my throat as I rest my hand on top of Prudencia's and squeeze. I've always had feelings for you, Prue. I even broke up with Nina because I saw you as more than a friend, but then you were dating Dominic and I waited and it hurt, and now we're single, but all of this is happening. It's always felt like we've had this unspoken thing between us and our timing has never been great, but seeing as I could drop dead any moment, there's literally no time like the present. I'm sorry for pushing you away at Nova when you asked me to choose you. I should have stayed and told you I love you. Prudencia doesn't move. She doesn't rip her hand out from under mine, but she doesn't embrace it either. My stupid streak continues, thinking that if she ever had feelings for me, that they would still exist after every awful thing I've done. I pull my hand away. I'm sorry, you've always been too extraordinary for someone like me. I'm not even talking about the powers. I get up. I leave you alone. Enjoy the constellation. Every step I take away from her, I expect her to call my name, but she never does. I sneak one last look over my shoulder, and Prudencia is still stretched across the grass with her eyes on the cloaked phantom. She clearly doesn't want anything to change between us, and that's that. I go inside. Wesley is in the kitchen giving Esther her bottle. Bottle. I don't know. His
Bottle water.
ball water.
Bottle
I go inside. Wesley's in the kitchen giving Esther a ball. His hipster bun is down and his brown hair rests behind his neck, and he looks exhausted. He mentions something about the constellation being beautiful tonight, but I go straight to my room, switch off the light, and lock the door. It's like I told Emil earlier. Screw these constellations. Screw the cloaked phantom for inspiring me to make a fool of myself. Screw the cloaked dreamer for killing me instead of making me immortal. Was?
Crowned. Wird cloaked wieder gehört.
Schon wieder cloaked. Alle Constellations sind cloaked.
Ja, alles so ein Mantel.
Ja. Daran erkennt man die immer, dass das so Celestial-Sachen sind. In bed, I feel fevered and itchy and nauseous, as I think about how much stronger I'd be if I hadn't failed so many times in my short life. I wouldn't feel like such a runner-up if I'd gotten a valedictorian instead of salutatorian. I would have felt more valued in my so-called if my so-called fans bothered to come to my meetup. Wow, genau. I would have felt more powerful if I could have somehow stopped Dad from dying and had the means to avenge Ma or the Reaper's blood to protect myself eternally. I could have built something with Prudencia if I didn't obsess over Celestials of New York. I could have been living my own life if I hadn't followed Emil to save his. Wow.
Okay.
Sehr viele interessante Messages in diesem Mumsites.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm always the sidekick and never the hero. I won't have to be tired of that for much longer. I grab my phone, its light harsh on my eyes, until I lower the brightness. My Instagram feed is mostly pictures of people posting the cloaked phantom with captions about changes they want to make moving forward, as if they ever honored their New Year's revolution. New York, I got my pins. Coney resolutions. These pictures are pissing me off all over again. Someone knocks on the door and I shout, "What?" I'm not in the mood for some check-in from Emil or Wesley. Can I come in? Prudencia asks from the other side of the door. Yeah, I say reluctantly. Here comes the I'm sorry you took so long to get this right talk. She tries to let herself in, but the door is still locked. Cloaked. Everything's cloaked. Infinity Cloak. Nächster Teil.
Hoffentlich.
Yeah. A second later, she telekinetically unlocks it from the outside. Prudencia walks straight through the darkness, the constellations light filtering through the window, and she crawls on top of me in bed and kisses me. Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay. I've wanted this for years, wanted it like having powers of my own, and her lips feel better on mine than ever every cheek kiss she's given me as a friend. This isn't some quick kiss either. It has life to it. Her hands touch me all over, and I give in and explore her too. Everything about this kiss feels like she's telling me that she'll be sad to see me go. When she starts taking off my shirt and telekinetically closes the door, it tells me something else.
Okay. I guess Prudence hat nur kurz ein bisschen gebraucht,
Ja,
oder?
ich glaube, die musste mal hart nachdenken. Sie war einfach nur geschockt von dem, was er gesagt hat. So, who are you? Und was hast du mit Brighton angestellt?
Dachte ich mir kurz, was ist denn das einfach Nesses, oder?
Aber es ist so von Emil geschickt, der ist okay. Du überprüfst ihn
Ja.
jetzt. Mit
Also
mir
mal
redet
wieder
er
ein
eh nicht.
bisschen, ja.
Du gehst ja jetzt rein, setzt dich auf den drauf und fängst an, den zu küssen. Und dann kommt die Actual Prudentia rein und ist so, Brudi, was?
Wir sollten gute Fanfics
Und dann kommt Wesleys Freundin rein mit noch 5 Versionen von Prudentia. Und die machen das Spider-Man-Meme.
Ich glaube, du solltest deine Schreibkünste darauf
ich
konzentrieren
glaube auch.
und nicht, was auch immer du da schreibst.
Zuschauer, wer auch immer das ist, schreibt meine Ideen auf, danke.
Ich meine, du hast ja 2 Aufrufe gehabt,
Alter.
aber nur ein Zuschauer.
Ja.
Sad. Bei so einem guten Kommentar hier.
Echt so. Commentary heute komplett through the roof.
Through the roof. It's been a minute.
But why? Straight fucking water.
HDS.
Okay.
Ja. Chapter 22.
22 Guns. Okay. Das funktioniert nicht mehr.
Nein, ich glaube, das war nicht so, oder?
21.
Ah, okay, same thing. Halo Knight. Die haben wir ja kennengelernt, falls sich irgendwer noch erinnert, aus dem ersten Buch.
Mhm, die Halo Knights.
Im Museum. Nee, ja, war im Museum. Ja. Und da haben die ja gegen June gekämpft.
Yes, und gegen alle einfach, die irgendwas gegen Phönixe haben.
Ja, und es sind dann alle kläglich verreckt, weil sie sich irgendwie auch teilweise gegenseitig umgebracht haben.
Ja, weil sie halt einfach auch keine Power selber haben, sondern nur ihre Phönixe.
Ja, ich meine eigentlich...
Nicht ihre Phönixe, die Phönixe, die mit ihnen sind.
Yes.
Die gehören
aber auch so manche Entscheidungen waren pathetisch, oder? Also, aber sonst sind sie, glaube ich, ziemlich cool.
Yes.
Vom Ding her ziemlich gut. Also vor allem, also im Gegensatz zu Brighton, so Gott.
Ja. Die sind eher so.
Moral.
Wir unterwerfen uns.
Ja, wir wollen nur die beschützen.
Ja.
Weil das ist uns wichtig.
Safety for Phoenixe. Woo!
Hashtag Phoenix Lives Matter.
Yes.
Okay. Maribel. Hunting is finally paying off thanks to the Cloaked Phantom. Working alchemy circuits such as pharmacies and hospitals hasn't given me any intel except that some alchemists would rather burn my phoenix fire than would rather burn by my phoenix fire than betray Luna's honor. But thankfully there's nothing like a ceremonial constellation that gets ordinary people itching for abilities of their own. Because stars forbid Celestials to have something that only belongs to us. Tonight is divided into 2 groups, those who will partner with alchemists to become specters, and those who don't want to open themselves up to persecution for having real powers, so they seek out imaginary ones. I tracked down a youngish brew dealer tonight in Alphabet City, and I slam her against a black van in a parking lot. Wie auch immer der Van gehört, sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
She seems to understand fear as my fire orb illuminates her face. The same for her would-be client as he drives away. I couldn't be happier about ruining his night and her payday. The dealer releases her hold on the brew, the vial shatters against the ground, and gold liquid flows under my boot. Please don't hurt me, she says. I don't know, wie die klingt. Ich sehe mir so ein kleines Mädchen.
Please.
So ein kleines Mädchen, was Drogen
Please don't
verkauft
hurt
letztes
me.
Mal.
Bow Wire.
Okay. Ich sehe schon, den Akzent hast du gemastert.
Ja,
So wie alle anderen natürlich.
absolut. Bow Wire. Ey, ich könnte das alles so bescheuert vorlesen.
Ja. The dark yellow fire orb spins around my palm like a burning planet. Where's Luna? Who? My sources have already told me that Luna Manette is heading up this operation, I say. The dealer is sweating as I inch the fire closer to her face. Tell me where to find her unless you want to spend the night as a pile of ashes. She's crying as she looks away from me. I'm not lying. I don't even know who this Luna person is, okay? I got laid off and needed a job, and my cousin knows someone who knows someone. I've only been doing this for a week, I swear. Then who's your boss? I don't know. I get a call from an unknown number telling me what time to pick up my vials at the Light Sky Tower. That's it. The Light Sky Tower. For all the work Luna was doing with studying the stars to plot her next move, residing in the tallest building in the city makes a lot of sense. My parents dreamed of working with architects to build apartments and schools for Celestials that were higher than most, but the reception wasn't well received because the powerless feared that would only result in more Celestials who could be strengthened under the stars and become so strong that we could never be overpowered. Achso, aber ich dachte, die sind nur stark, wenn die so Sternlicht so ausgesetzt sind. Dann wären die ja nur stärker, wenn sie in ihrer Wohnung sind, oder?
Vielleicht auch einfach, wenn sie näher an den Sternen sind. Würde ja auch Sinn machen, I guess.
Vielleicht können die dann so Energie sammeln.
Aber like, Brudi, wenn so ein hohes Gebäude schon viel ausmacht, die dürfen ja niemals Astronauten werden.
True, eigentlich, aber ich meine, in dem Sinne ist es schon ziemlich dumm, dass, like, Sterne ist, like, die Sonne.
Ja.
Die müssen ja eigentlich am Tag die meiste Energie haben.
Ja.
Aber na gut, ich glaube, so funktioniert das nicht. Sterne
glaub
sind
auch.
ja hier nur ein Sinnbild. Imagine, so Sonnen sind so random, so dass es ein Bild am Himmel ergibt. Ey, wow.
Ja.
This is how deep gleamophobia runs in some of these people. We can't even live high up without being viewed as threats. Flugzeuge geht nicht. Und die fliegen können, sind einfach unendlich stark, oder?
Yes, Alter. Immer hochfliegen und dann bist du so voll kaputt, aber kannst richtig aufladen.
Ja, like, dann bist du immer stärker, je höher du bist, aber dann kommst du auch höher. Und dann bist du wieder stärker. Wow.
Wow.
I close.
Perpetuum mobile?
I don't know. Ich glaube nicht, dass man hier so Energie sind. Man sammelt das ja nur von Sternen. I close my fist and the fire orb extinguishes. The dealer is shaking as I release her. Get out of here, I say. This is the most compassion I can offer her in Atlas's honor. Back when we didn't know Ness was posing as an acolyte named Hope to try and trick us into taking him back to Nowhere with us, Atlas was the one who tried comforting Hope after we were fed some sob story. I was ready to walk away. Sometimes I question why he wanted someone like me, especially since, yeah. Freue mich auch.
Ja.
Especially since he started dating me when my heart was the most vengeful it had ever been up until now. I run full speed and my dark yellow wings of fire burst to life and carry me out the parking lot and across Alphabet City, where Celestials and others have taken to the streets to party under the constellation. The Light Sky Tower is in downtown Manhattan too, and I can already make out the shiny prism of a building emerging from the clusters of others. It's risky going at this alone, but it would be riskier to give Luna and June and the others a chance to relocate if they haven't already. If there's a chance to avenge Atlas and save Eva and Carolina, I have to strike now. Vor allem, like, ja, die kriegt da ihre Drohung oder was auch immer von diesem Turm. Aber ist halt nicht, like, als ob da vorne so eine Rezeption ist. Ja, einmal 5 Vials für
Ja.
ein Mädchen. Ist ja so, es könnte einfach so sein, ja, hier, diesem bekannten Ort, dahinter in der Mülltonne findest du deine Sachen.
Ja.
Aber I guess, man kann dann hingehen und beobachten, ob da wer was hinpackt oder so.
Mhm.
Aber sie war ja so gleich so, ja, macht Sinn, dass die da leben.
Irgendwie es macht eigentlich Sinn, dass sie da leben, aber ne. Ich weiß nicht,
Oh,
wie weit die sich, die erkennt man ja schon. Wahrscheinlich können sie aber nicht weit von diesem Gebäude auch weg. Weil, so ein grüner Basiliskenboy, so ein halbtotes Geistermädchen, so eine mit 4 Armen und so eine alte. Fallen schon auf.
Okay, die laufen ja nicht zusammen. Aber Dune kann sich ja im Boden verstecken.
Ja, dann kann sie noch irgendwie so Luna mitnehmen und so, I guess, aber sie kann wahrscheinlich alle mitnehmen, aber ist wahrscheinlich nicht so cool.
Ja, und Dion.
Ich guess, sie kann die Arme wieder wegmachen. Ne?
Ja, die sind ja nicht ganz Zeit da. Also Stanton ist wieder schwieriger, aber ich glaube, der ist nicht seine Aufgabe. Ich stelle mir vor, dass der
richtig groß ist, so 2,5 Meter.
Nee, ich denke mir eigentlich, dass du so, I don't know, ich denke mir, die sind alle so, keine Ahnung, 15, 16. Und das ist die
so 12.
Und das ist einfach nur so, ja, die haben alle ihre Probleme, aber die kämpfen gegen die bösen Senator und so.
Senator! Das war
Keiner cute.
Ja, oh mein Gott, Stan einfach most kawaii Charakter. Tierlist of Kawaii-ness in Infinity Cycle.
Musst du wohl mal alle illustraten.
Ich glaube auch.
Einmal normal und einmal etwas jünger.
Einmal normal und einmal so, wie ich sie mir wünsche. In Kawaii.
Einmal cute.
Als cute Anime Girls.
Das nicht. I reach the tower and I'm aiming straight for the penthouse. If they are not up there, I will work my way down, and even if it takes all night to get through what I remember to be over 100 floors. I fly around the security guards patrolling the terrace. Terrace.
Terrasse. So.
Terrasse.
The Terrasse on the south side of the building.
Terrace.
Terrasse.
Patrolling the terrace on the south side of the building don't see me. They may not be able to mark me immediately as the daughter of terrorists they believe me to be, but it doesn't take binoculars to spot someone with dark yellow wings making her way to the roof. I'm still new at flying, so this is taking a lot out of me, but I push through for Mama and Papa and Atlas. The flames around... Wenn ich Mama und Papa sage, das ist so deutsch. Das passt da gar nicht rein. Könnt ihr nicht
Mutti
so
und
Mom und
Vati.
Dad sagen?
Mutter und Vater.
Mutter.
Meine Erziehungsberechtigten.
Genau. The flames around my arms are diminishing until I give it one last push that drags a scream out of me. Ja, die fliegt so am Himmel lang mit diesen fetten Flügeln aus Feuer und ist so, total unauffällig.
Ja. Vor allem dunkelgelb. Da gibt es auch nur 2 Richtungen, in die das gehen kann. Eine wäre orange, dann warum sag ich nicht einfach orange? Und die andere ist so kackgrün, ekelhaft braun. Dunkelgelb.
Ich denke mal halt so golden, aber gedämpft.
Aber dunkelgelb.
Ja, aber es ist ja so ein hässlicher Grünton. I don't know, wenn es leuchtet, ist vielleicht was anderes.
Feuer?
Ja, jetzt Feuer ist so gelb und orange.
Ja, aber dunkel und gelb ist ja nicht orange, sonst würde man ja orange. Ach, egal.
Also es gibt auch graue und so, also da fällt es ja eh ganz anders.
Sowieso.
The wings burn brighter and fuller and I sail over the roof's balcony, so voll vorbei. Crashing onto the floor and rolling beside the huge telescope. I survey my surroundings as I catch my breath. The lights are off beyond the glass doors. There's no sign of life out here. No one seems to be guarding the penthouse. No security, no acolytes, no casters. I pull the Oblivion dagger out from the new sheet I have fashioned into my powerproof vest and burn off the door's handle and let myself in. Die hat einfach so ein Stück Stoff genommen und außen rumgenäht auf das Ding, sodass oben so eine Tasche ist oder was.
Ja.
So richtig hässlich.
Richtig billig.
Äh, Lights immediately come on. Of course, this place has sensors. No one pops out with a wand to take me down. My psychic sense isn't signaling any danger, but I remain cautious because I still don't fully understand this power. If I knew everything there was to know about Sarah's visions, I could better figure I could better figure out how to tune mine. I still haven't had time to fully process everything about what it means to be Sarah and Bautista's daughter. I only know that the world would find more grounds to hate me because not only do they blame Mama and Papa for the blackout, but my biological parents founded the spellwalkers they've deemed villains. Deemed villains. I think back to my sentiment about how I'm done saving the world that doesn't want to remember my parents as heroes, and I feel doubly now I'm including myself too. Those who wouldn't save me don't deserve my saving. Those who would have deserved my avenging. I proceed through the penthouse. Starlight filters through some of the bay windows. There's a dining table that can set a dozen, but no sign of recent life that can seat a dozen. Black ceramic pots rest in the white built-in bookshelves. Above the fireplace is a painting of a woman climbing out of the central mouth of a nine-handed hydra. Interessant. The chandelier is the icing on this very expensive cake.
Bei dem Bild muss ich ein bisschen dran denken, wie bei Coco, der Pixar-Film, wo da dann dieses. Ne? Die Künstlerin mit der Monobraue? Oh mein Gott, ich weiß doch, wie die heißt. Ach, egal. Frida Kahlo. Wie die dann so ihr Kunstwerk da hat und dann ist sie das irgendwie und dann krabbeln da lauter Spinnenartige raus und dann sind die alle verkleidet als sie und sie ist so, wow, Kunst. Und ich denke mir so, wow, das hier wirklich genauso.
Ach so, ja, die war sie eine Artist? Ich dachte, die war
Ja.
irgendwie so Mode, irgendwas kunstmäßiges. Okay.
Alright.
Alright. The bedrooms are down the hallway. One reeks of sweat and sewage, and there's dried skin on the pillowcase. I wonder who that is. All signs point to Stanton. Aha.
Detective Marable.
I eagerly go to the next room, wanting more to confirm that the bloodcasters have indeed been here. Es gibt einige Leute, die bestimmt nach Kanalisation stinken und Haut abschäden.
Sicherlich. Und
All
zufällig in der
signs-
Nähe von diesem Deal-Zeug sind.
Ja. I eagerly go to the next room, wanting more to confirm that the bloodcasters have indeed been here. I find paper clippings about Senator Iron on a bureau. On a bureau.
Birdo.
Bureau.
Bureau, ja doch.
This could have been Ness keeping tabs on his father. There's nothing out of the ordinary in the next bedroom, but there are drops of blood on the bathroom floor. It's red, not grey like June's, so maybe this was the Owen's room. I keep my dagger ready as I enter the suite. It's 8 times the size of the biggest bedroom I've had throughout my history of Haven homes, which was the archive room of the Amy Silverstreak Library in Queens. The walk-in closet is empty. The bed is made, but sticking out from underneath is a handkerchief stained with blood. This had to have been Luna's quarters, living large and dying slowly as she tried to master immortality. I shudder thinking about Luna forcing Eva to heal her of her wounds, and even going so far to try and get her sickness improved, even though Eva can't even heal a common cold. But if anyone is going to figure out how to use the blood of a healer to save herself, it's the alchemist who engineered potions combining multiple creature essences. I exit the suit and continue down the hall when I see lightning flash outside the window. I was
Sweet.
sure. Was?
Er exit the sweet.
Achso, ich habe Suit gesagt,
Ja.
ne? Yes.
Nackig, okay.
I was sure to check the weather this morning, and yesterday morning, since seeing that Phoenix 2 nights ago, there was no forecast for storms. There have been no sightings since then, but those of us on the bridge that night weren't the only ones to see them flying into the city. Multiple clips surfaced online, but no one knows where the rider settled. I was able to identify the Phoenix and do a little research. The Phoenix is a light howler, and in a fight can be as fast as its personal lightning strikes. Krass, au. Thunder roars, and the second lightning flash reveals the Phoenix and its rider. Danger buzzes through my body the closer they get. The rider is wearing a mask with a metallic golden beak and confirms my suspicion. She is a Halo Knight, protector of phoenixes. The Night Howler hovers over the balcony as the rider hugs a crossbow to her chest, somersaults on top of the telescope and fires an arrow at me. Ach so, man sieht sie einfach so. I spin out of harm's way with a one-handed cartwheel. The arrow shatters the door and glass rains behind me. Two can play this game. I'm quick with the fire arrow and blast the crossbar out of her grip. She flips off the telescope and lands in a defensive stance. She's wearing the customary leather jacket with yellow feathered sleeves and finger-cut gloves. You have no right possessing that sacred fire, the Halo Knight says with fury and heartbreak in her voice, as if I killed a phoenix right in front of her. I inherited my powers, danger. A dagger drops out of the Halo Knight's feathered sleeve, and she hurls it at me. I shift in time for the dagger to sail past my head. The Halo tackles me back inside the penthouse and pins my shoulders with her knees. She fidgets with a small pocket in her black leather belt, and I horizontally levitate into the air, grab onto her, and spin rapidly until she must be dizzy before slamming her down on the floor. I punch the golden beak, knocking the mask fully off her face. The Halo Knight has dark eye shadow over her intense glare, a long nose that rounds out like a button, sun-kissed cheeks that are flushed from the fight, full lips that are cracked like she's been biting them, and dark hair that's been braided into a crown that's coming undone. Then her foot connects into my back, and I roll off of her. We pick ourselves up and charge, locked in a dance of physical combat. She shoulder rolls across the dining table and hurls the chair my way. I dodge, and she closes in on me quickly. I go for a crushing kick, but she sneaks under my leg with an uppercut that I block. I use my power to flip over her, but she beautifully times her sweep kick to my landing and knocks me onto my back. Halo Knights are self-appointed guardians trained by those who came before them to protect phoenixes against all human dangers, traffickers, hunters, alchemists. Seeing as all my enemies have been people, I've never had to fight a Halo Knight before. I wonder if all their skills are as otherworldly as this one. What do you want from me? I ask from the floor. Your blood, Spellwalker, she says. That line runs around the block, I say. My dark yellow wings carry me off the floor, and I charge a fire orb while hovering over the Halo Knight. She runs away from me and whistles at her phoenix. Strike! The light howler sways on its black talons as a ray of lightning spits out of its throat. I glide out of the way before the lightning strike can blow a hole through my body, but as it blasts apart the fireplace, the aftershock throws me across the room, and I slam against the painting of the woman and the Hydra. Colors dance across my visions as the Halo Knight crouches over me and stabs my arm with a needle. No more fire out of you, the Halo Knight says as she waves a tiny dart in my face. No flight tranquilizer, the same used to sedate phoenixes. You have roughly 3 minutes before you're unconscious. I'd be impressed if I can make it in 3 minutes. I want to punch her, but I can't get my mind to connect with my fist. My parents were slaughtered at the Museum of Natural Creatures, protecting a newborn Sentry Phoenix, the Halo Knight says. The night Atlas was killed. That was me. The Halo Knights were dead by the time I arrived with the other Spellwalkers. We saved the Sentry Phoenix. Where is she? Dead now. You have the Bloodcasters to blame for that. The elevator dings. The silver plate indicates that someone is coming from the 60th floor. The Halo stands. Is that them? She asks. I don't know. I'm not psychic. Well, long story. I'm beginning to feel delirious. It could be Bloodcasters or security since your pet blew apart a wall. Roxana isn't my pet. I'm slipping into sleep. I can't get into the politics of her phoenix right now. Get me out of here. When I wake up, I will tell you everything about my powers and connect you with Emil Ray, who would have been there when your parents were murdered. Why would I trust you? I want the Bloodcasters dead too. The Halo Knight looks back and forth between the elevator and Roxana before she drags me by my legs to the balcony. The phoenix sinks onto its belly as the halo rests me onto Roxana's feathered head that smells like rainwater. Spellwalk rings through the penthouse, quickly drowned out by the heavy flapping of wings and thunder and rain as we fly away from danger. Then, nothing as I fall asleep above the city. Wow, epic.
Lieb.
Das war sehr viel Combat anscheinend.
Ja, richtig Action.
Yes.
So, das Kapitel habe ich mir markiert, also jetzt wird's wichtig. Aufpassen.
Oha.
23.
Erstmal was trinken.
Sowieso, das mache ich auch. Kann ich durchziehen. Brrr.
Hä?
Mache ich auch, dann kann ich brrr durchziehen. 23. Silver and Sapphire, Brighton. I'm so hot that I'm pulled out of a dream where Prudencia telekinetically carries me into the sky and kisses me down the moon behind her.
I'm so hot. Kapitel zu Ende.
With the moon behind her. Ich bin so hot, Alter. I'm so hot, Punkt. Brighton, Zitat.
Ja, meine ich ja, Kapitel zu
Ja,
Ende.
echt so.
Weiter geht's.
Prudencia's head is nestled against my left shoulder as my scaly arm is burning up like it's trapped inside a fireplace. The heat spreads across my body, and as much as I don't want to let her go, I slide out from under Prudencia. I step over the used... Uiuiui, darf man das überhaupt sagen? Das ist ja ganz schön
so weit gekommen ist, wow.
not safe for work. Verhütungsmittel.
Also wir haben ja Leute, die...
And put on my boxers so I can get some ice cold water to go with the medicine I need badly to cool down my temperature. I fall to my knees and I don't realize I'm screaming until Prudencia snaps out of bed in nothing but the bra and underwear she put back on after we had intercourse.
Ja, ich wollte auch das Wort sagen.
Brighton, what's wrong? Prudencia asks, and her touch burns me even more. I flinch. It's hot. I'm so hot. Ah! I'm so hot.
Hey,
ah!
Warte. Also, okay. Ja, wir haben Verhütungsmittel, wird das. Ich wollte gerade sagen, wird das irgendwie ein krasses Kind oder so? I don't know. Hat es dann doch das ganze Blut irgendwie? Wird es einfach sterben?
Junge.
Einfach
komplett,
so
ja.
schlimm.
Das ist so ein Twilight-Moment, wo dieses Kind in Prudencia drin schon voll overpowered ist.
I don't know. Wir hatten ja nur welche Filme von Twilight haben wir geschaut? Den ersten
1
oder?
und 2 oder so? Ich hab keine
Okay. Nee,
Ja, sie
davon
kriegt ja
weiß
dann
ich
ein
ja nicht.
Vampirbaby und dann trinkt das Vampirkind schon aus ihr raus Blut. Deswegen muss sie immer Blut nachkippen. Und sie ist noch gar kein Vampir, dann slurpt sie so Blut einfach aus dem Becher.
Ach so, ich dachte, das Kind ist irgendwie stark und schlägt sich aus dem Bauch raus.
Nee,
oder
ja,
so.
aber gefühlt, weil sie sieht so
Okay.
dead aus.
Belastend, aber okay. Muss man wohl mal weiterschauen, oder?
True, also ich gucke mir das gerne nochmal an. Ich kann mir immer Twilight angucken. Beste Film.
Anscheinend, ja.
There must be some inferno around my heart. The poison is eating me alive. Emil runs into the room with groggy eyes. I hold my shaking arm, and it hurts to breathe so much that I almost don't want to. Emil, this is it, bro. I'm dying. I scream again as I punch down on the floor with my left fist to try and fight through the pain.
Emil so, Bro, Brandon,
Bro.
put on some clothes.
Slips on the Verhütungsbild. Falls down, dies too.
Okay.
It's a losing battle. I grind my teeth so hard they might crack and go down my throat and choke me to death before this poison can finish its dirty work. You're going to be okay, Prudencia lies, with tears flowing down her cheeks. Wesley, Ruth, and Iris are gathered outside the doorway as Esther cries down the hall. Emil hugs me. I love you, bride. I love you, bro.
I love Prudence.
Ich werde gut auf sie aufpassen. Keine Sorge. Jetzt, wo Ness tot ist. Oh mein Gott, ey. The heat spikes to a whole new level and I shove Emil because I sense something explosive within me. My scaly arm glows like burning coal and I wish someone would press a wand to my head and put me out of misery.
Wookie, how to become a creeper.
Ja. Boom. My vision becomes foggy like heavy clouds of smoke and clears moments later and I find something impossible. My arm is blazing in silver and sapphire flames. For a tenth of a second, I trick myself into thinking the Reaper's blood is working until the fire incinerates my flesh and bones. Aua. Blood pools around my knees. I must look like someone in a grotesque horror film. The flames erupt all around me until I'm completely consumed.
Ich hoffe, wir hatten Feuerlöscher bei.
Ja. Warum gibt's keinen Wasserphönix und Emil ist der und kann so
Kann Leute nass machen.
I'll be nothing but ashes in moments. My shoulder tenses as a fist punches its way out, stretching until the rest of my arm follows. The silver and sapphire flames disperse from everywhere except my good-as new arm. It worked! The Reaper's blood worked! I break out into a laugh. Sweat and tears still on my face, and as the fire from the Century Phoenix vanishes within my formed hand, I don't see anyone else laughing or celebrating. They are all stunned, but it's the horror in Prudencia's eyes and the dread in Emil's that really sets me back. What? I ask. I investigate my body to see if I'm missing something bad, but I only see something amazing. How do you feel? Emil asks. My temperature is cooling down. My arm is sore and stiff, but nothing that flexing my fingers in some stretching can't fix. Will flex, but okay. Happy, I say, with a smile that feels as big as the one I had when Prudencia and I stopped to catch a breath after intercourse. During intercourse. I smile a smile that has felt buried in my face for years and was finally freed. I have wanted power since I was a kid. I never gave up on that dream like Emil did. The Reaper's blood seemed like it was going to take my life, when instead and it proved it infinitely. Oh my god, infinitely funny.
Ich hoffe, das nächste Buch heißt einfach Infinity.
Infinity. Ja doch. Oder viermal einfach direkt Infinity. Das ist einfach das ganze Cover. Und überall steht nur Infinity. Und das ist Brighton im Hintergrund, wie er lacht, aber on fire ist und ihm ein neuer Arm wächst. Infinity.
Wow.
I'm starting over with powers. It's everything I've wanted, almost everything. Only 2 out of the 3 essences have manifested so far, but I don't want to be greedy. This is a great start. I'm so excited to actually jump up and down, pumping my new fist that's nearly identical to the one I've always had minus the nicks I've gained the past months from all the fights against specters and acolytes. I notice a thin white scar from where the fire ate away at my arm and trace it. Hydra essence killed Dad, but it saved me. I am strong enough to save the world with these new powers. I want to start training, I say, moving for the door. You should probably put some clothes on first, Wesley says. I'm still in my boxes. I don't care. They all just witnessed a miracle. Settle
Wait, also,
down. Ja.
warte, sind seine Boxer nicht verbrannt?
Ich glaube, es war ja
Da
nur
kommt-
sein Arm, glaube ich, der actually
Ja.
on fire war.
Also, aber stand nicht irgendwo, dass er dann komplett in Flammen stand? Ja,
Ah,
the
all
flames
around
erupt
me
all
until
around.
I'm
Ja,
complete-
ja.
Ja, ich meine,
Ja, aber I guess man keine echten Flammen dann.
ja,
Also keine,
die machen
ihm
nur
schaden.
Brighton kaputt. Nicht die andere Sachen.
nicht die arme Kleidung.
Ja. Settle down, Prudencia says. It's 3 in the morning and you were literally just on fire. You were so on
wollte
fire,
nur-
bro. That's sick, dude.
Aber er war auf mehrere Arten on fire,
Ja,
you know what I
eben.
mean.
But it stopped hurting. Emil, was it that bad for you? Emil shakes his head. No, my fire never hurt me like that. Prue is right. Let's take this slow. Century Phoenixes are different than Grey Suns. I heard how war-angry Gravesend's cries were. We don't know how that's going to play out for you. Great. Now they're going to blame all my instincts on some breed temperaments. I'm eager because if there's a chance my mother is still alive, we are going to have to move fast to save her. I sway on the spot, and this dizziness feels different than all the other times since the Reaper's blood has impacted my system. Then I remember that what happened to Emil and Maribel shortly after using the Phoenix Fire for the first time. I'm going to faint, I say. I think about quickly reaching the bed so I can have a safe landing, and I suddenly lunge forward so fast that I roll across the mattress and crash into the desk by the window. Prudencia massages the back of my head as she helps me onto the bed. Did I just swift run? I wasn't even trying to do that. The powers are all manifesting. It's happening. Guys, it's happening.
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
Boah,
It's all
weiß nicht, was
really
ich kenne.
happening. Richtiger Memester, der Adam so wäre. I rest my head on the pillow because I'm fading, but I'm fading. Okay, no. But I'm already so excited to wake up
So
knowing
excited.
what's waiting for me when I do. That enthusiasm clearly isn't shared by anyone else in the room. It's almost as if everyone would rather see me dead than alive with powers. Also ich würde
Boah,
dich lieber tot sehen, Brighton.
Es geht da schon wieder los, ich glaub's. ey.
Hast schon wieder Brew genommen.
Ja, alle schauen ihn nur komisch an, weil er sich so komisch verhält.
Er ist so voll langsam zu diesem Tisch rüber. Hat sich auf den Boden gelegt. Wow! Swift Speed, Leute.
Ach ja.
Ach man. Puh. So. Weiter geht's.
Das ist nicht
24.
1 Stunde 14, 12 Minuten.
Ah, jetzt war gerade 14:20 bei mir, also 4:20. Mal gucken.
Es kommt jetzt in 3, 2, 1, boom, 420. Aha. Okay,
Okay.
let's go.
Boah, ist ja voll viel Brighton, okay. Mal gucken.
Echt, kommt nur noch Brian oder was?
24,
Right.
Infinity Save, ja, Brighton. It
Okay,
wasn't a
extra
dream. I sit up in bed and the thin white scar above my bicep proves every nightmarish thing I went through in the middle of the night to get my powers. I don't know what was the final push to access them. The clocked phantom, near death, intercourse with someone I wanted to live for, time, but I am not questioning this victory. I take a selfie on my phone to document this historic morning. I don't upload it yet. Timing is really important when it comes to social media, and my mind is already spinning with possibilities on the Brighton of New York feature that will show the world my humble beginnings on my journey to becoming the strongest Spectre ever. Ich hasse mein Leben!
Like, I don't know, like, Der hat das von Luna geklaut.
Ja, und
Sie hat like actually was geschafft und er ist so, ja, ich habe mit Glück überlebt, als ich das von ihr geklaut habe, nachdem ich sie angeschossen habe.
Und es ist halt so traurig, wie er sein eigenes Leben so wie so eine Story schreiben will, so meine Humble Beginnings und wie ich dann der krasseste werde. Like, fang mal erstmal mit den Humble Beginnings an. Versuch mal erstmal humble zu sein.
Das hat ja nichts mit Celestial zu tun. So.
Ja, es ist halt so, what the fuck? Was ist deine Mission? Und like, wenn du das allen sagst, als ob dann alle so, ja, cool, oh mein Gott, du bist jetzt fucking unsterblich. Cool.
Ja, like, I don't know, wenn er das postet, ne? Sure, Luna ist jetzt nicht die modernste, ne? Aber irgendwer wird da bestimmt schon Informationen sammeln und ist so, oh, by the way, hat bei ihm funktioniert. Er hat jetzt Fähigkeiten und ist anscheinend unsterblich. Lass uns mal einen Plan ausdenken, um das zu beenden. Weil das ist wichtig. Die können die nicht weiterleben lassen, das wäre weird.
Ja, und like, dann macht sie das einfach für alle, von denen sie möchte, dass sie so unendlich leben. So ihre ganze Gang oder so. Like, die sind ja jetzt ziemlich Dings, ne? Ich denke so Bulli. Und sie, like, denkt sich selber aus, ne, wie man die easy töten kann, sagt es denen aber nicht. Aber dann sind die so unsterblich, solange sie an ihrer Seite sind. Und dann kann sie sich lauter Anhänger holen, weil sie das Rezept zur Unsterblichkeit hat. Und
vor allem, I don't know, like, von den Fähigkeiten her allein ist schon krass. Like, June allein ist ja schon krass.
ja.
Aber dann like irgendwo auftauchen, tödliches Gift spucken oder Acid. Easy.
Aber ich meine, das hat er hat ja, warte, er hat Hydra.
War doch Stan, oder?
Ja, das sowieso. Ja, das war.
Oder hat er keinen Basilisk?
Das, aber Basilisk ist ja, glaube ich, nicht bei Brian.
Achso, also das war Phoenix, Ghost und Hydra. Ja. Aber kann Hydra nicht auch irgendwas spucken?
Spuckt immer nur rum. So ein richtiger, ekliger Typ.
Aber der ist so ein Cowboy.
Ja.
Die haben immer so einen riesen Eimer. Und alle spucken da rein.
Prudencia must have woken up already, so I get dressed to find her. The glorious smell of breakfast doesn't make me nauseous today, and Wesley is in the kitchen spreading peanut butter and jelly on some bagels beside the steaming plate of hash browns, a pitcher of freshly squeezed orange juice, and bowls of sliced cantaloupe and kiwis. Morning, Super Spectre, Wesley says, before turning his attention to the empty baby bottle that's boiling in the pot. That is boiling in the pot. Good sleep? Does it count as sleep if I passed out because my body overheated from Phoenix fire? Whatever it was, you did more of it than the rest of us, Wesley says. Esther wouldn't stop crying. I had to take her for a run. Perfect segue.
Segue.
Perfect segue. Judging by Dion's powers, I know swift speed works differently for specters and celestials, but you mind giving me some pointers later? I need to get all my abilities in shape. Wesley finishes making a plate of food and grabs one of the sterilized bottles. I'm only saying yes so you can take Esther on a nighttime run the next time you wake her up. Emil's down at the beach if you want to bring him some breakfast. You should definitely eat everything you can. You need the energy for all the running around. He goes back toward his room and someone shifts on the couch. Prudencia is asleep in her everybody is super shirt with her hair hanging off the cushion. Why didn't she stay in bed with me? Did she stay up talking about me with Emil? I won't bother her now, but it's one of the many questions I got to ask her. She never explained what brought her to my room last night. I thought we might talk about it after having intercourse, but she put some clothes back on, wrapped my arm around her, and went to sleep. I prepare breakfast plates and carry them down to the beach on a tray. Any other day I would have complained about how hot the sun is, but this is nothing compared to being encased in Phoenix fire hours ago. Emil is standing in the water, the waves crashing against his already tight jeans, which are going to be impossible to take off when drenched. Das war.
Aber wir haben jetzt alle Phoenix-Haar und trocknen Mai.
True, einfach ein bisschen erhitzen.
Bisschen Feuer.
Brighton einfach mal kurz pusten. Föhn.
Oder ganz schnell rumrennen.
Ja, im Kreis. Er kann so rennen, so eine Feuerspur hinter sich hinterlassen. So ein richtiger
er kann einfach
DeLorean.
zurück in die Zukunft.
Ja. Er kann einfach in der Zukunft zurückreisen.
Dadurch, dass er schnell...
Einfach Fluxkompensator essen.
Er kann durch die Zeit reisen. Warum? Weil er schnell rennen kann und Feuer legen.
Ja. Und manchmal spuckt er auch. I call his name 3 times before he finally hears me over the wind. He's dripping as he walks over. How are you feeling? I set down the tray and hand him his plate with the bagel and extra fruit. I feel ready to put this new lease of life on life to good use. The sooner I can figure out these powers, the sooner we can make a move against the Bloodcasters. I believe in the stars now more than ever, and I pray to every last one that Ma hasn't been killed because of me, especially not after how horrible I was to her on our last phone call. Maybe we can save our mother. Emil stops reaching for his breakfast as if he's lost his appetite, thinking about Ma's fate. Not having an answer is unsettling, and I keep assuming the worst, but I can't operate that way until we know for sure. I'm not giving in to the grief because it'll make me weak and powerless like when Dad died, not when I stand to be stronger and more powerful than ever, than anyone. Oh my god. I want to save her too, but we can't rush into this. My powers aren't working and you're new to yours. If something has happened to Ma, then we make sure they don't get away with it, I interrupt. Emil lets out a deep sigh. By locking them up in the bounds, right? You need my help with the Phoenix powers, but I'm not doing that if you're trying to become some assassin. There's so much wrong with that, but I bite my tongue. Emil seems to be forgetting that learning new skills and absorbing information has always been easier for me. I was also working the camera during all his training lessons with Atlas on how to pull the fire out of him. I can do this myself if I have to, but I don't want to. The dream has always been to save the world with you, the rays of light. The Bloodcasters won't stand a chance against us. We'll be... What was it I called you when I was trying to figure out your hero name? Unkillable Kings? Though we should rework that to Infinity Kings for branding. You're the Infinity Sun and I'll be, given the nature of potion and my deathly powers, there's one name that feels right, Infinity Reaper. But between not...
Wow.
He said
both
things.
things.
Both things at the same time. Oh my god. But between not having the ghost powers and Emil not wanting to wanting me to kill, I abandon the name. I'm the Infinity Savior.
Wow.
We fist bump and whistle, but it's so half-hearted on his end that it's getting harder to keep a lid on my frustration. I know my extra shot at life isn't as flashy as you being reborn in Phoenix Fire, but I'm alive and I thought my brother would be excited about that. Chill out, Bright. You know I am, but that doesn't mean I'm hyped about the direction you're moving in. I'm not getting caught up in our branding when it's more important to figure out the binding potions. So, he's studying my face like he's taking me in for the first time ever. If we can miraculously brew the potion, I'm scared you won't drink one with me. I'm scared of who you'll become. He's not technically my twin anymore, but we grew up close like we were. I can talk to him about anything, and sometimes it feels like I have, but nothing hits harder than Words we've never exchanged. I scare him. I'm not going to lie, bro. There's no part of me that's eager to get rid of these powers. I've been waiting for this moment forever, but that doesn't mean I'll actually understand the downsides of gleam crafting until I'm deep in it. This isn't going to work, though. If you treat me like some power addict from if you treat me like some power addict from the jump. Mm-hmm. You literally risked your life for the most dangerous combination of powers, Emil counters, to not die and help fight back against the real dangers in the city. I know it's not a choice you would have made, but I promise I'll do everything I can to earn your trust. We're a team. Can we hug this out already? I stand and help him up. This hug reminds me of this past June when Emil was missing Dad during Pride Month. Last year, our parents offered to accompany us to the parade, but Emil wanted to have fewer eyes on him as he entered that space for the first time, so only Prudencia and I went with him. He'd told Dad and Ma they could join next time, and Emil regretted that so hard this past Pride when Dad wasn't around. I give him the hug that Dad would have given him, which always felt like its own superpower. Oh, siehst du, deine Hugs sind deine Superpower. Warum hast du ein Mirpasblatt getrunken? Also wirklich. I hope Emil feels easier around me. I've been messy with him. Even before we got involved with the Spellwalkers, and it's going to take more than a chat on the beach to fix a brotherhood that I was ready to move across the country to get away from, but I'm sure we'll be stronger than ever before, literally. I pat him on the back. We good? We will be, Emil says. He nods towards the cottage, to where Prudencia is making her way down to us. Are you two good? I hope so. Did she mention anything to you last night? I mean, I put one and one together, but we didn't talk about any of that. It wouldn't bother me personally if Prudencia did get into that with Emil. You. What matters is knowing where we stand. Junge, wir haben so hart gebangt, Emil, das kannst du mir gar nicht vorstellen. Und jetzt ist er auch noch krass. Morning, Prudencia.
Prudencia so. Ich hätte eigentlich gehofft, dass er stirbt, weil dann müssen wir nicht drüber reden und so.
Ja. Oh mein Gott, das wird jetzt peinlich. Ja, ich möchte doch nichts von dir. Morning, Prudencia says as she joins us. I want to lean in for a kiss, but that doesn't feel right. I'm getting worked up over the confusing energy in this triangle of ours. Küsst aus Versehen Emil, weil er einfach komplett verwirrt ist. Alles geht drunter und drüber.
Aber wir sind ja nicht mehr blood related, ne?
Oh mein Gott, true. Aber dann brauchen sie ja gar nichts mehr machen, ey, honestly. Das ist ja das Wichtige im Leben. Blood related. Everything has changed and everything is changing. I'm a spectre. Prudencia and I kissed and had intercourse after years of nothing. Emil might be feeling like a third wheel in the same way Prudencia has understandably felt the same, like the third wheel in the same way Prudencia has understandably felt the same, and that I have too. Okay, was? Ich verstehe den Satz, aber ich weiß nicht genau, was da... okay. Then there's figuring out what we are to each other now that I'm alive to answer that unspoken question. How'd you sleep? I ask. On and off, Prudencia says. She glances at Emil, who takes the hint. I'm going to start some research on your powers, Emil says. Let's kick off training this afternoon, I say. We fist bump and whistle, and our connection isn't quite there, but it's better than before. I take that progress. You two must have had a great chat, Prudencia says. I don't know if I'm more surprised by the hug or Emil helping you train. We're working through our trust, and I wanted to do the same with you, Prue. I got to cut right to it. Do you actually care about me romantically, or did last night only happen because I was dying? Well, actually. The wind blows back her hair as she looks down at the sand. I wanted to be with you because I wanted to be with you. I let down my guard because you showed me a side of you that finally made me feel safe, but I don't know if I'm going to matter as much anymore now that you're a specter. Prue, I'm not choosing my powers over you. We can fight to have it all, like Iris and Eva, Mirabel and Atlas, Wesley and Ruth. I don't want to be some power couple, Brighton, Prudencia says with an edge on her voice. I want to be a person in a world who isn't hated for who I am.
Also, weiß Brighton, wo Eva ist?
Und was mit Atlas, Brudi? Was mit Atlas?
Was mit Atlas?
Der ist ja schon seit dem letzten Band irgendwann nicht mehr
True.
bei uns. Also.
Oh mein Gott.
Ja. Wesley und Ruth haben es auch nicht einfach. Die haben ein Kind.
Die haben echt ein Kind.
Also entweder möchtest du, dass einer von euch entführt wird, einer von euch stirbt oder ihr ein Kind habt.
Oder schlechte Nächte. Keine
Ahnung. World hated, blah blah. Okay. I want to help create that world for you. I go back to what Amir said, and I can see the same concerns building on her face. Don't fear me, trust me. I hold her hand, and I'm so relieved when she squeezes mine. I get my lips ready when she leans in, but she kisses me on the cheek. Got
Seine Hand quietscht so wie so ein Hundespielzeug.
Ja. You're on probation, Brighton, Miguel Ray. I will telekinetically throw you across the world if you break your promises. No need, Prudencia, Yolanda Mendes.
Yolanda.
Yolanda. I stare into her brown eyes and she starts walking back to the cottage with a big enough grin. Hey, Prue, want to help me become the most powerful specter in the entire universe and the most followed person on Instagram? Prudencia's hand drops to her side and her fingers wiggle and a bucket's worth of sand sweeps into me. She's already running away and laughing, and I chase after her, eager to learn how to run at swift speed so we can have more ordinary moments made extraordinary because of who we are. I'm finally on the path of having everything I ever wanted.
I follow her and I set her on fire.
Ja.
Wow.
Oh, das klingt doch eigentlich nach einem schönen Ende.
Reicht's für heute?
Ich schau kurz, wie lang das Kapitel ist.
Dann müssen noch 2 Brighton-Kapitel lesen.
Oh, die ist ja richtig lang. Das ist so lang, dass es zwischendrin wieder so ein Absatzzeichen gibt. Wow.
Aber bald kommt wieder ein Nest in like 4 Kapiteln oder so.
Ja. Weißt du, den habe ich heute gelesen und dann beim nächsten Mal lese ich direkt auch wieder 2 Brighton-Kapitel und dann ist das ja super. Dann ist es ja genug Brighton für jeden Tag.
Aha. Dann gibt's ja ein bisschen Emil, Marable.
Aber es war jetzt auch ein schönes so Happy Ending.
Ja, Brighton got laid.
Ja. Ich wish, man könnte mich sehen, wie ich Peace-Zeichen mache und die Zunge ausstrecke wie ein cooler TikTok.
Ja, musst du wohl ein VR-Video
Ja. Das wäre
Ja.
anstrengend. Vor allem mit Buchlesen.
Schau seit Nougat Zeit runter.
Ich mach mir eine VR-Version von diesem Buch. Das dann die ganze Zeit vor mir schwebt.
Nee, das würde ja nicht funktionieren, aber ja.
Aber ne, praktisch auch, dass dieser Special etwas längere Stream nun den krassesten Plot des Jahrhunderts beinhaltete.
Ja.
Hat überlebt.
Brighton is not dead. I know. It's sad.
For God's sake, Connor! Mann, ey.
Ach ja. Ich frage mich, ob unsere Chatfrequenz irgendwann größer sein wird als 0.
Ja, gut. Apropos Connor. der eine Schauspieler in Heartstopper heißt Kid Connor. Ich glaube, ich habe einen neuen Connor für meine Lieblings-Connor-Liste.
Ich glaube, wir können gleich danach weiter reden darüber.
Ja, ich wollte nur kurz sagen, wo ich gerade Connor gesagt habe, dachte ich mir, wow. Dann dachte ich mir auch,
Ja,
wer zur Hölle nennt sein Kind Kid mit Vornamen, aber
okay.
das ist eine ganz andere Story. Nicht wahr, Brighton? Brighty?
Bright Shining
Cody.
Star of.
Ich war
Gut.
Brighton Miguel Ray.
Und Prudencia Yolanda
Mendes.
Amanda. Jedenfalls, ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Ich fand's interessant.
Und wenn nicht?
Weiß ich nicht. Bestimmt gibt es Leute, die sich denken, über was reden die denn da?
What the heck?
Lesen die eigentlich ständig so Bücher, wo irgendwelche Leute Sex?
Ja! Winterkraut.
Ja. Ah,
Wenn ihr
gut.
euch immer dachtet bei Infinity Sun und Infinity Ripper, wow, da gibt's echt wenig Geschlechtsverkehr.
Inappropriate scenes.
echt wenig inappropriate, not safe for work, not straight fucking water scenes. Dann guckt euch Winterkraut
Schaut
an.
nicht vorbei bei Winterkraut, weil das muss sich keiner geben, bin ich ehrlich. Und ja, nächstes Mal geht's weiter mit Kapitel 25 Training, Brighton Edition.
Es wird spannend. Richtige
Hat
Training-Montage beim nächsten Mal.
Wir lernen einfach, dass Brighton voll krass ist.
Und die ganze Welt zerstört.
Ja, es ist einfach, oder keine Ahnung, er hat seine Fähigkeiten zu viel benutzt und verbrennt.
Easy.
Uh,
Und alle anderen
Jedenfalls-
verbrennen mit ihm.
ja, so die ganze Welt, das
Ja.
Universum. Es collapsed in Brighton zusammen und dann ist alles zu
Ja.
Ende. Na gut. Ich hoffe, es hat euch, wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst ein Like da.
Yes!
Und dann hören wir uns
beim nächsten Mal, wenn es wieder
nächsten Mal.
heißt Super Segurke Buchclub. Wir lesen
Alter, du machst heute das
Infinity
Outro.
Reaper von Adam
Epic.
Silvera. Wow, ich hab's mir gemerkt. Ich bin krank.
Wow,
Wow.
das sag ich sonst so.
Ich weiß.
Krass. Ich wusste nicht, dass du das merken kannst, diese Original
Diese
Line.
Original Line. Und dann hören und sehen wir uns alle beim nächsten Mal wieder. Dies, das.
Ja. Dann auf wieder
Wieder
tschüss.
tschüss.